Well, good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. The Morning Report is production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. It's going to be a fun day today. We don't really get a chance to bring guests on, and today we're going to do just that. My friend Jeff Dow of Digital Soldier Network is going to be our guest for our first segment. I can't wait to talk to Jeff. I've known Jeff for a while now, and he is incredibly smart, analytic, and involved in local politics. Like we keep telling you, you know what? Everything is about local politics, and I think developing a template that can be used other places is super important. It's like a Moneyball thing. I mean, if we can create a template that works here, that same template with adjustments can work other places. This is how you quote take back your country, one county, one race at a time. So I'm looking forward to talking to Jeff about these things, especially about our local races here in Hillsborough County. Sort of give you an eye on what we're doing here, and hopefully you can do the very same thing. And if you're curious about it, you can get a hold of Jeff, because all this information is going to be in the description box here on YouTube and and there on Rumble. So, and we've got an announcement about Twitter. When don't we have an announcement about Twitter? Anyway, we'll be back right after these messages. See you in a little bit.
Well, hey everybody, my name is Willie Lawson, and you guys know that I do a lot of stuff on the internet. And you may think with what's happening on Twitter and what's happening on Facebook and what happened to Parler that the mainstream social media sources are really trying to rid themselves of conservative voices. And you'd be right. They most certainly are. But you know what? It isn't as bad as you think it is. It's worse. But there are people who are willing to be platformed for free speech. One of those places is freedomforum.website. Freedomforum.website. You can go there and speak your mind. So come join us. Enjoy the freedom. Enjoy the fun. If you are a true blue conservative, small businesses are near and dear to your heart. They are the lifeblood of our life and economy. I believe this, and that's why my florist is not a website or phone number. My florist is Blooming Days Flower Shop, Tampa's premier flower shop. At 11618 North Florida Avenue here in Tampa, Florida, and at 6835 State Road 54 in Newport Richey. Call Christine at 813-933-1942 and at 727-232-6900. She can also be reached on the web at www.bloomingdays.com. One of the things that I get asked most is, where can I get information that is not tainted with liberal bias, especially here in the Tampa Bay area? Well, now I have the answer. tbctampa.com, a website by and for Tampa area conservatives. Tampa's leading conservative voices speak freely at tbctampa.com. And you can too. So join the fun and enjoy the freedom at tbctampa.com. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report.
Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. I have a special guest, and I've been trying to get forever, but he's super busy. He stays up super late at night. He may indeed be Batman. The dude may indeed be Batman.
Jury's out.
But he'd never say. He'd never tell you.
I can't tell you if I'm Batman.
or he may be Michael Keaton. I'm not sure. Which, I'm sorry, is still my favorite Batman. I don't give a damn what you say. My friend Jeff Dow is with us this morning, and Jeff is incredibly involved in what's happening in our general area here in West Central Florida and across the state of Florida. He has his own show. He has his own podcast, and you can tell by his background. I didn't invite a leftist on the program. I did not, because we don't do that kind of stuff. Again, good morning, Jeff. He's looking at his Trump sign. He's ready to put that bad boy back up. Bing, bang, boom, right away.
We got lots of stuff.
Look at him.
I even got some old school stuff.
Look at that. That's awesome. Again, welcome to the program, Jeff. Tell my listeners and my viewers a little bit about yourself, sort of the thumbnail sketch, and how you got involved in all of this falderall.
Well, first off, Willie, thank you for what the phrase syndicated radio show means. It sounds very important, and with 600 something episodes, and I believe that you're nationwide known for.
I don't know. People know me. I don't know how to. They know me.
This is awesome.
I am I think I'm more infamous than famous, though.
The word famous is still in there. So no, I appreciate you having me on. What's cool is Willie and I go back before my involvement in politics. We've had a similar mindset in terms of kind of where we stand on a lot of issues. I met Willie through a mutual friend in marketing when I first got out of the military. So Gary James Knight left the Tampa Bay area, moved out to Tejas, selling I call it a jet ski with wings. He calls it the Sandbar Lamborghini, the Icon A5 aircraft. So anyone's got, big bankrolls and you want to get your own personal aircraft, hit up Gary James Knight.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Because he and his wife are repopulating all of Texas.
Awesome. That's a big state, so they got a lot of work to do. So politics for me was never saw this coming. Didn't. Very outspoken. As I was getting out of the military, I probably my last, I think 2010, 2011 is when I started paying attention to politics. And I didn't really even get any sort of consciously involved. I don't know if that's a word. Until probably about 2015. As I was getting out of the military, looking at who was running for president, I built a little intel team on Facebook Messenger, former operators, former intel. I have a background, 10 years Navy intel. And so we were reading through content and sourcing. We kind of created our own little version of Drudge Report within our own sphere of reports that each of us, we would read, we would vet and make sure it's a reliable source. And then we would share it within the group. So I was getting a higher concentration of good information in a compact period of time. And then it's just kind of morphed from there. Lots of trash talking on Facebook, and people suggested that I should start a show. And I thought, who would watch if I just spoke? And, over time it's grown. And ironically, it makes sense because I remember in fourth grade coming home from school and my mom took something that was like this and went, "We need to talk about this." I was like, "What is that?" It was 42 detentions in fourth grade alone. And
Impressive.
most of it was talking. And who knew what got me in trouble in grade school would later be potentially a, I don't know if gift is the right word, gift of gab. So yeah, one thing led to another. I was watching War Room Pandemic. Steve Bannon, Dan Schultz. There was a lady that they call Fog City Midge. She lives down in, I think, Palm Beach County, Palm Bay County, down in Miami area.
Palm
And
Beach.
I saw her get sworn in and talk about this thing called the precinct project, precinct strategy, becoming a precinct committeeman. And I looked into it here locally, and that would have been May of last year. And I got sworn in as officially a publicly elected official. And just kind of took my skill set being an analyst, a data guy, and started looking at this race, all these races across the county. And you asked, like, is it too late for people to get involved? No, it's not. Literally on day of election, you could and should, if you're free, be out helping somehow. There's a ton of stuff that we need help on. There are people right now. There's the early voting locations are probably about 10, I think 10 to 15 libraries throughout Tampa or Hillsborough that all need, we have these things called slate cards. This is a really bad example because my printer is very empty, but there's, you can see DeSantis in the middle, Ashley Moody, and Rubio. But like I said, I'm running out of ink. But this is all the people who are running for office in our county. We have those in a card that you can literally hand out to people as they're going in to vote. Outside of that, on Saturdays, we've been setting records across the state from what I hear. I think every single Saturday since election cycle started, Hillsborough County has been in the top. Usually we're number one, if not top three of doors knocked on a weekly basis by Saturday evening numbers. So as one of the largest counties in the country, we have more registered voters than 8 states. We are physically larger than the state of Rhode Island. Hillsborough has nearly 1 million registered voters across 448 precincts, and it is a massive lift. But we've organized our entire team into different regions, and then we have the precinct members within those, and then we've built out a volunteer army. And we need people. This Saturday will be one final push to get out and door knock. And I believe if the numbers are correct, tell me how crazy this is, our team will have handed out collectively 40,000 pamphlets of information to
That is
voters.
outrageous. That is simply outrageous. Outrageous.
So yes, it is. It's been a lot. Here's what I'll tell you. There's a difference between watching a fight and getting involved. And I say on my show all the time, they're writing, like, the history books are being written right now. This is a blowout period. This is a take back time. And you listening, wherever you're at, you're going to have one of two options. You're either going to tell the story about what other people did during this time, or you're going to share your own story to your kids, your grandkids, your grandkids. You have the opportunity to write your chapter in the book right now. Are you going to stay on the sidelines, or are you going to get involved? And if you feel like it's too late, it's not. We have citywide elections I'm already pivoting and focusing on that are coming up in March. There's going to be a big fight there. 125 precincts represent that area, 7 districts, a number of them. Looking at the data, there's 7 Democrats in all 7 seats, but there's a number of seats that we've just been lazy. Like, I can see the numbers. I'm like, we should District 1 is far more favored to us than any of the other district. It's like we have more registered Republicans in that district than there are Democrats. We should never have let that seat go. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of places to help. And like I said, the books are being written. Whether you like it or not, they're being written. So what's your chapter going to be?
That is outstanding. And you guys have done some really good work this go around. And if I may rabbit trail, one of the things I've said for a long time is that the city of Tampa has pretty much by the local party has been ignored. All 7 seats on the city council
And mayor.
mayor are people who are Democrats. Now I know, stop, you're going to push back. Well, Willie, those are nonpartisan seats. Boom. But anyway, but you
I
know
don't
what?
care.
But you know what you don't have? You don't have nonpartisan people in those seats. If you had nonpartisan people, then you might have an argument with me. But the fact of the matter is that you don't. You
Yep.
have it's like the foolishness of Bernie Sanders being independent.
Should never happen.
He's not independent. He
No.
caucuses with Democrats. He's a leftist. He may indeed be more left than half of the Democrats. So
Only half.
I'm trying to be reasonable here. But so the idea that he's independent is just a word that doesn't mean anything. So nonpartisan in this particular instance doesn't mean anything at all, because all of these folks are Democrats. They vote with Democrats. They're registered Democrats.
Yes.
They follow and support other Democrats on a state and national level. These folks are Democrats. District 1 is ridiculous. We've always had more registered Republicans in District 1 than we've had than there have been Democrats. And it seems like the local party is like, oh, Tampa, that's too hard.
Well, I'll tell you, there's a new team of people stepping up to the plate, and we collectively have an everything focus. I just had Allison Fernandez on the show the other day, running for Temple Terrace. I think are you in Temple Terrace or you're close?
I'm not. I'm close.
You're just outside of it.
I'm in a place called Temple Crest, which is, the Black Temple Terrace.
That's fun. I got nothing. Because I know you're in that general area, so you're just south of it then, right?
I'm just southwest of it.
West?
Southwest, which puts me in East Tampa. District 3 County Commission, District 5 City Council. District 3 City Council. No, District 5 City Council, District 5 School Board. Yeah.
3 City Council, 5.
3 City Council.
Yeah.
5 School Board.
Gwen Myers for County Commission, and Shake Washington for School Board.
Yeah.
How crazy is that? A year and a half ago, I wouldn't have known any of these races. Now I can go down to the Board of County Commissioners, and they have this stupid policy where you can't name them by name. So now I get to say District 3. How do you not I don't know how you handle the other 3 in your party. They put out a map that completely, screwed you over. And I can go through. I know Harry Cohen's District 1. I know that Ken Hagan's District 2. I know Gwen Myers is District 3. I know that Stacey White currently, but terming out, now going to be Mike Owen, District 4. District 5, aka the Crypt Keeper, who blocked me on Facebook, Mary Ellis Smith. I can do this all day. Pat Kemp. You should see that meme. It's flawed. It looks identical. It's probably one of the best fusion memes I've ever done. She looks literally. I'll send you the Crypt Keeper's campaign picture after this. You will lose it. Feel free to share it out.
I will do. That's hysterical.
And to round out, District 7 is Pat Kemp, who Josh Wastel is running against. And I really, to answer one of your other questions about how I think the races are looking, I feel very confident when I'm looking at the numbers. I don't know if you've looked at current statistics for early voting and mail-in ballots. Willie, we're within 7,000 votes of that. 7,000 voters.
Which has never been the case.
Not in the early voting.
Early voting, they've always hammered us in early voting. Always.
Yes, and then we make up some of the difference on election day. If we're within 7,000 going into election day, we're gonna run the tables. And I say that, run through the tape. Don't stop. I don't drive it even harder. Go even further. Bring as many people as you possibly can. Each of us should be reaching out to 5 to 10 people who don't typically vote. Say, you need to come vote. Let's go do this together. Let's go.
Let's vote and go to lunch.
Yes.
Yeah,
Save America by way of Hillsborough.
we used to be a bellwether county, and I don't think we have been that as of late, and I think it's just involvement. I think it's we have needed people. We needed some new blood. We needed some new excitement, and we needed not just new blood, but some intelligent blood, like my friend Jeff Dowles. You can tell his analyst background has really been beneficial. Um, looking into the numbers is super important, and being able to excite people, and not be afraid of whatever the establishment thing is. Not be afraid of, well, we don't want to offend people. We don't want to, get into
Yes, I
arguments
do.
with people. And Jeff's like, well, if they're wrong,
Look,
somebody needs to say so. Um,
I
and
wore a uniform for 10 years of my life. I have another shirt that I had created that basically says veteran, a person who, I think serviceman, someone who took an oath to their country that has no expiration date. I took 3 oaths in uniform and 1 oath so far since I've got out to become a precinct committeeman. My country is not for sale. I did not give 10 years of my life only to get out and watch this slip away. So I'm incredibly passionate about this. The data I'm excited about because it's a skill set. If you've ever seen the movie Moneyball, that's literally what I'm doing in all of this stuff. If you haven't, the overview of it, it's a movie with Brad Pitt, really good movie. I highly recommend you go watch it. It's definitely a family type movie, family safe. The whole premise of it, being a Red Sox fan, I didn't even realize that this movie connected to that. It's about the Oakland Athletics and how the general manager sold off, like they were having a hard time financially at bringing out fans, and so they sold off Jason Giambi. They sold off a lot of their big ticket names, which baseball's marketing. It's business. It's you have to figure out how to put fans in seats, and so when you're selling off some of your big names, everybody's questioning his sanity. And what they did was, I forget the other um character. I always forget what his name is. Um, but he was a math guy. He was a numbers guy. And what they did was they didn't focus on bringing the big names, the big, home run hitters. They sold off the good players and just brought on people who were consistent and getting on base, who didn't make a lot of money. They were lower, no name players, but they could hit. Their batting average was strong enough to at least get them on base. And what happens if you get on base enough times, you stack the deck, and every single next base hit is a run. So then it turned into the Oakland Athletics shattered baseball's previous record. I think they ended up winning like 20 to 27 games straight, which is absolutely unheard of in baseball. Previous to that, I think it was like 20 or something to that extent, held by, I think, the New York Yankees. And so the sad part is they didn't win the World Series that year, but they set a world record for how many games won in a row. Terry Francona, the owner general, I don't know, of the Red Sox, went directly to this character and said, "We'd love to hire you. We see what you did. We'd love to hire you for our team." And he gave him a pretty substantial offer, but he turned it down. The Red Sox were determined to take that skill set, and they did that exact same thing. They applied it that next year, and that would have been the year of 2003, 2004, which was the first year the Red Sox broke the curse of Babe Ruth. When they sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees, they never won another World Series for nearly 100 years. I know, because to all my fam out there who are Bucks fans, I'm sure you're used to the phrase rebuilding year up until last handful of years.
We've never rebuilt it. We never rebuilt anything.
So
this time, the first time we've ever re-signed a quarterback was Tom Brady just now.
Which, good job. You ruined that man's marriage. I'm just kidding. He's an adult. He makes his own decisions. But
he's grown up.
But I say all of that because it had statistics had a tangible effect. So what I realized was, if I can only get to so many doors in an election cycle, and if candidates only have so much money, how do we focus the resources that we have in a smart way that we can reach the right people with the minimal amount of waste. So I went through and found all of the races in the county, school board, state house, state senate, county commission. I skipped that one. People running for Congress. And I broke down, it's all on the SOE, the Supervisor of Elections website. And I went through each race and I put a check mark on each of the precincts. So now when I find out what we're working with some of the campaign teams here in the area, I find out what precincts we're going to go knock on this Saturday. They tell me the precinct numbers and I kick them back the data of what names need to go in that packet. So we're not putting in just because this person's in this general area. We're not going to, oh, just give me a bunch of extra. We'll put, no, it's, if you're knocking on the door, the stuff that's in the bag is specific to that precinct. So we're minimizing waste, we're maximizing exposure, and I think that we're in a really strong spot here in Hillsborough. It's a county that I think a lot of people have slept on for a long time, but it's one of the fastest growing cities and overall counties in not just the country. Pre-COVID, it was the 14th fastest growing economy in the world.
That is amazing, especially for an old fellow who's been here pretty much all his life. And now to see this second wave of growth everywhere. Jeff, when I grew up here, you could literally go and in the parts of Brandon and stop by the side of the road and pick oranges.
Man, I live in Carrollwood. I hear that this house used to be, or no, just north of me, Bears Groves. There used to be orange groves all over.
You could just stop by, any of those roads and just stop by the side of the road, reach over the fence, and pick fresh oranges. And you know what? Nobody cared. The Grove people didn't care. It's like, okay, fine, it's fine because people aren't picking enough oranges to cause us any damage. They were everywhere, and where there weren't orange groves, there were cows, freaking everywhere.
I love it. Yeah, the city's changed even just since I've been here.
Where the Brandon Mall used to be Carrie's Dairy. As you drive into Brandon, there was a dairy. Wow. There was a cow pasture there.
Let's go. Brandon should be its own city.
Let's go. Brandon should be its own city. Well, I think that there are people in that region who would agree with you. I think the difference is tax base. They've enjoyed being protected by the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department, and they don't have to provide their own sheriff's department. Same thing with with fire and rescue and that kind of stuff. And there's some people there who will say, no, it's cool to be sort of what do they call it? A commonwealth. Yeah. You get all the benefits and you really don't have to pay all the money. Yeah. So I think they're enjoying their life as a commonwealth. Anyway, well, Jeff, thanks so much for that information on the local stuff. I'm going to ask you some specifics because I'm sure about things that have that are on a little bit more of a national level. I just need to hear your opinion, and my listeners need to hear, my viewers need to hear your opinion on. Let's start kind of local. Let's start with our governor's race. We talked off air a little bit ago. Yeah, getting all jacked
Governor
up.
Goat. I'm actually gonna get to spend election night with him.
Are you?
He's gonna be here in Hillsborough. Where I don't remember, but there's a invite only. I was kind of blown away. It's pretty cool.
Congratulations.
I'm gonna talk to him about this. I know the billets are filled, but I know that there's gonna be more budget for next year. I want to serve the state level, so that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty cool. We talked a little bit about that before we started the broadcast. What are your thoughts? Because you and I share a thought about the governor's race that I don't think other people are really paying attention to. Share with listeners what we talked about off air.
So DeSantis has already he's accumulated a presidential level of war chest, right? The amount of money that he's built in is insane. That's one. Two, I think I'm not the biggest fan. I'll speak on behalf of myself. I don't know where you stand, but I'm not the biggest fan of Florida politics as a news outlet. But I do agree with a lot of what was written in an article that just they put out yesterday or last couple of days, the winners and losers. And it literally it literally said Charlie Crist, I call him the Rhino Dino. He has the opportunity to become governor if this one thing happens. And I was like, okay, what's that one thing? If if Governor Ron DeSantis were to go out and stump for him and campaign for Charlie Crist, that's the only way he's gonna win. I was like, oh my God, that's savage.
That is savage.
So the Democrat Party as a whole right now, they're pulling money out of Florida. They're pulling money out of states that were traditionally bellwether, meaning it could go kind of either way. And they are forced to have to defend states that you would never have. Like, if we'd have said this a year and a half, 2 years ago, people would have been like, you are doing drugs. New York has 15 seats in play. 15 congressional seats that actually, if you look at what it's going to take to remove the gavel from Nancy Pelosi, New York alone could be enough. And those seats, it's not just wishful thinking. It's very, very legitimate. Strong possibility, it's favorability for Lee Zeldin to take over as governor. You have a number of seats throughout the state that are way more competitive than they should have been. The Democrats had to pull money from a lot of states that, they would like to fight in to defend states like Vermont, New Hampshire. You have Senator Don Bolduc up there who's got a very strong chance of winning. There's New Jersey has a congressional seat that nobody saw, that all of a sudden is on the map. Michigan governor's race, as well as Senate race and a number of House seats. Illinois, like places you're like, what? Oregon, Washington. So all across the board, you're seeing Democrats don't have a message. They don't have anything to promise other than we're not them. Okay, good. Like, keep saying that because that's perfect. That only helps us more.
That worked for me, really.
Yes. And when you look across, the entire nation, I was saying this stuff going into 2020. California's got seats in play. I said this going into 2020, and there are people in my audience who call me the forever optimist. I'm just a data guy, and I over time I may not have the exact, I might not be right in a lot of areas, but I have this weird, being a statistics guy and a person who learns through communication. I get a pretty good pulse of the country just through the people I speak with and all of that. I was right about those states, New York, California, that these states are in play. I was just wrong on the cycle. They're there. I think the numbers for the Democrat Party are incredibly inflated. And by that, I mean, here in Hillsborough, over the last 24 months, we have chopped away 25,000 registered voter gap from the Democrat and Republican split. I've been watching it over the last 2 years. Every single month, we've been chipping away at about 1,000 registered voters. We've brought that in a lot closer than it was. And there's a focus. I have a game plan going into the next go round on how to take Hillsborough fully red, more registered Republicans and Democrats. And we can do it in about a year or two. There's across the board, you look at the numbers. And every time, like I don't know if other states do this, but in the state of Florida, you can pre-register at the age of 16. You can't vote until you're 18, but you can pre-register. Those numbers get counted. Those are fluff numbers. And if the Republican Party is doing, I don't think the numbers are as much there because you look at the school system and you do see kids in school do tend to lean more Democrat. So that's a benefit for them.
Except my kid.
Well, which, yeah, you raise smart children.
My kid pre-registered Republican right before the Obama election.
Wow, that's solid. Guess he saw right through the minutia.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the word. Yeah, in the Florida primary, there were 2 votes in my house. Well, there were 3 Republican votes in my house. 2 were for Marco Rubio, and 1 was for Ted Cruz.
That's fair.
My kid's a little, He's my kid. There you go. Well, that's exciting. That's exciting information. Now, what I'm hoping now is that we will be able to follow through, because you could have the greatest club in the world and the nicest ball in the world and a great backstroke, but if you don't follow through, then the ball will just sit on the tee.
Absolutely. That's why I say we have to run through the tape. Don't rest on anything that I just shared with you. In fact, dig that knife deeper. Figuratively speaking to the feds who may be watching. I feel like I always got to put that disclaimer out.
But I apparently the Federalistas don't understand analogies and that kind of thing.
Well, it's upon us to educate their low IQ window licking selves.
Yeah, it's just an analogy, folks. Just like we're not literally hitting a golf ball, but I think everybody got that. You're absolutely right, Jeff. So tell people how, we've only got a few minutes left in this session. How can they find you, my man? How can they find you? And more importantly, how can they help you?
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, good news is I was nuked on Instagram yesterday morning with a lot of other conservatives, but I'm back on. I was able to appeal it. And very, very, very rarely do I win these appeals, but I did. So I'm still on Instagram, still in the fight. So I do host a podcast called the Digital Soldier Network. Tagline, giving you the tools to join the fight. I take my skill set, my background, and I put it together and teach people how they can actually get involved. Last night, we did an entire breakdown on I don't even say entire, surface level breakdown of analytics for Tampa City Council races and how winnable a lot of these seats are. I'm on Rumble. I'm on a number of places. The best kind of things that you can use to go find me, digitalsoldiernetwork.com, digitalsoldiernetwork@gmail.com if you're wanting to get involved in something. Or if you can remember this is kind of like Linktree, but Linktree nuked me too. So
Did they really?
Yeah, they're Australian owned. So I guess I can see that now. They've gone more communist. But lnk.bio, lnk.bio/DSN. That's for Digital Soldier Network. That'll take you to all my platforms. So that's the best place. And if you want to tune in, you want to learn how to get involved, it doesn't matter what county that you live in this country. If you go to my Rumble channel, there's also a locals connection point on there. It's free to be a member. Members, I didn't want to put a paywall in front of information, so the information's available and free for people to read. But if you want to contribute, if you want to get, comment and stuff like that, I set that low. It's at like $5 a month. So information's free, involvement, $5 a month to give back to the show. But my whole focus is educating people across the country on becoming a precinct committee man or woman, grassroots involvement, and breaking down analytics wherever you live at. Money flow, contributions, expenditures, how people vote when they get into office, all that, like opposition research stuff. I teach it in real time.
That sounds great. So you guys have heard it. We're going to go ahead and put those links down below on, when we put this up on Rumble this morning, and we put this up on YouTube this morning, because they have not gotten rid of me yet. And I'm going to go ahead and link this out to Twitter, because Twitter seems to be a little different this morning than it was a week ago.
I'm waiting to get back. I've already created a meme video for the day I get back on, and it's just me wrecking stuff. I'm back. I had 6,000 on my first Twitter account before they nuked me.
Yeah, you were going to get nuked on Twitter. That's all there was to it. But there is it seems to be, and I'm trepidatious, but it seems.
Yeah, I don't trust Elon.
I don't trust anyone, actually. So, but there seems to be a different vibe right now. Whether that'll change or not, we don't know. But right now, might as well, especially if it doesn't cost me any money. I'm good to go. All right, man, Jeff, thanks ever so much for dropping by. And anything we can do to help, anything we can do to push to make you take you to the next thing, just let me know. I'm always here. All right, folks. Well, thank you again for coming by. We're gonna go on to the next section of the morning report. We've got lots to talk about because things are always nutty. always nutty, but always a lot of fun to talk about. All right, we'll be back right after these messages.
So is it okay now, because it was, I mean, during the Trump administration, it is okay to talk about the president's
Yeah. We talked about mental health elderly, so let's talk about this guy mental health.
the president's mental acuity, because there's sometimes where it seems to be lacking. Have you seen?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it's especially bad. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes it's like really bad. Like, have you seen the picture?
I was told not to take any questions.
I was told not to take any questions. They're going to be mad at me.
They're going to be mad at me.
Mr.
President, are you the president or are you five?
You see, what I want. See, the next question is, excuse me,
I was told to call on what you call for NBC. Who's telling you to call on?
That's the question that we ought to be asking. Who's telling you this?
I mean, I don't understand why nobody won't ask that question.
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Who's telling you to call on these people in the media?
Is Jen Psaki actually the president?
Probably so.
Oh, hey, y'all. Welcome back. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We are thrilled that you are with us this day. It is Tuesday, the 1st of November. So we're starting November with a delicious warm cup of coffee, like we start every day, even July 3rd. Hotter in August and October in Florida than it is in June. Know that? It's hot. The AC is, in here is working fabulously. You probably hear it. We have redesigned and you can't tell here, we redesigned the desk here, but I'm missing a cable, so we didn't get exactly what we wanted, which means when I'm done here, I got to get. How come I got a new computer for Father's Day? You guys know that, and I keep bragging about it because my family is bomb diggity, fantastic, wonderful, and they love me. So I wanted to hook up 2 monitors, but nobody told me that the extra outs of this game video card have a different connector. Why didn't somebody tell me? Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed the interview that I just did with my friend Jeff Dow. And the information on how to get a hold of Jeff Dow is in the comments. In the description box, both on YouTube and on Rumble. So you guys can check that out for sure. I appreciate that. We mentioned Twitter, and I plan on doing this article about Twitter. And Jeff mentioned that he didn't trust Elon Musk. And frankly, I don't trust anybody. But right now, Twitter seems to be in a different headspace. Now, how long that's going to last, I don't know. I can't tell you. But something you might not have been aware of, Jack Dorsey, at Jack, has retained his stake in Twitter, saving Elon Musk $1 billion. Jack Dorsey has 2.4% of Twitter. He is the largest single stockholder in Twitter outside of Elon Musk. And there is a Saudi prince, of course, that owns who's a third. According to filings, Dorsey retained more than 18 million shares in Twitter, valued at about $1 billion. And there's again a Saudi prince who rolled over his 34.948 million shares of Twitter, valued at roughly $1.9 billion. Dorsey, who stepped down from Twitter's board of directors in May of this year, has been pretty outspoken about his support for Musk taking over Twitter, writing in April that Musk was the singular solution he trusts. Here's what he said. He said, Elon's goal of creating a platform that is maximally trusted and broadly inclusive is the right one. This also, the former CEO Parag Agrawal's goal, and that's why I chose him. Thank you both for getting the company out of an impossible situation. This is the right path. I believe in it all my heart. Not sure what that means. So now, are we trusting Jack? When we hated Jack, are we now trusting Jack? I'm not trusting Jack. Right now, go ahead and get back on the platform. If it doesn't cost you any money, if it doesn't cost you any, because it doesn't cost you an inordinate amount of time, get back on the platform before the election and do the best you can. Try to, if we can stay rational and reasonable, I think we survive. And I know it's hard not to be angry. I know it's hard not to be bitter. I know it's hard. But I think that we're in a much better shape or much better place if we indeed stay rational, we stay responsible, and we stay respectful to people. And basically the people who aren't respectful to us, ignore. Just ignore. A lot of people are out there right now on Twitter testing the boundaries, simply tweeting things like there are only two gingers and sort of waiting to see what happens. Climate change is a hoax, and then they're sort of waiting to see what happens. And I get that. I've been tempted to do the very same thing myself, to sort of see what happens. But again, let's go ahead, and like I say all the time, just use what's left of the system that we have to our benefit. Let's not bail out before we have to bail out. When they were thinking about where I worked in my second job, about forcing us all to, do the thing, there were people who said, do not do it, but don't quit. Make them fire you. And I was all about that. I said I wasn't going to do it, but I wasn't going to quit. I wasn't going to bail out. I wasn't going to acquiesce. I wasn't going to give up ground. And I think that we should be that way too. I don't think we should give up ground. Hang in there. Hang in there. Make them fire you. Make them throw you out. Yeah, it's like being in the bar. I don't want to be on the bar, and I'm just going to be here until you throw me out. Eventually, if you have that attitude in the bar, eventually you'll be thrown out. That's all there is to it. But in the meantime, we're going to be as respectful and reasonable as we can before they throw us out. Twitter, I don't know. All right, again, thank you ever so much for spending some time with us this morning. My name is Willie Lawson. I am the Chief Bottle Washer, CEO, CFO, COO, OO. Yes, I have to go. 70 to 7 on SXM. Anyway, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody. And for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.